Hello, and thanks for joining me at IT Home Lab Online. In this video, we're going to install a wazuh server as a virtual machine on our Proxmox VE server. For those who aren't familiar with wazuh, it's a free and open source security platform that provides threat detection, integrity monitoring, incident response, and compliance capabilities. Think of it as your own homelet SIEM, or Security Information and Event Management System. It's the same kind of tool that enterprise security teams use to monitor their environments, and we're going to get it running right here in our home lab. Once our wazuh server is up and running, we'll be able to deploy agents to our other machines. I'll do this to my Windows 11 laptop as an example. Once it's done, we'll be getting real visibility into what's happening across the network. Now, let's get started. For this exercise, I'm going to use my Proxmox server, Proxmox 01, which you'll recognize from previous videos. If you haven't seen the previous videos and you're starting fresh, all you need is a working Proxmox VE installation and you'll be fine working along. wazuh recommends a minimum of 4 CPU cores, 8 GB of RAM, and 50 GB of disk space for a single node installation. So that's what we're going to set up today. In a production environment, you want to scale this up considerably. For your home lab, this gives us plenty to work with. Right, let's get into it. First of all, we're going to open up our Proxmox environment. Select our node, and we'll create a new virtual machine. So we're just going to name this wazuh. Select our ISO image, so we're going to install it on Ubuntu. We're going to leave everything as the defaults. For the disk, we're going to increase that to 50 gig, and I'm going to change it to SATA just for compatibility. Cores, we're going to increase to 4 as per the wazuh recommendations. Memory will increase to 8 gig. And network we will leave as is. Finish. Okay, so I'll start up the virtual machine and open the console. Okay, I'm selecting the default language, which is English. I'm not going to worry about updating the installer because I'm going to run my updates when I get started. Keyboard layout is English US, so I'm happy with that. I'm installing Ubuntu Server. I'm happy to pick up a DHCP IP address for now. I don't need a proxy. It's important to wait for the mirror locations to be tested. And done. Okay, so it's automatically detected the entire disk. I'm not going to set up an LVM group for now, just because I find it easier for adding additional disks, expanding, that sort of thing later. And I'll say done and continue. Username, I'm just going to use a stock standard username. I'm going to name this server wazuh. My username will be the same. Select a complex password. Done. I don't need to install Pro for now. I will enable SSH just to make life easier. And I don't need to install any additional software. So for those menu systems, I was just hitting Tab to move down to the next field. Okay, so that's completed. Reboot. Ah, I need to eject the disk. I can just hit enter here. Okay, so I'm going to log in with my user account. And then before I do anything, I'm going to do my updates to the operating system. If you're new to Linux, there's a few commands that you need to use the sudo command, which is the super user do, and updates is one of those. So I can see there's quite a few updates there. I put in -y at the end of it just so that it doesn't prompt me to confirm. Okay, just to make sure things are nice and clean, I always like to do a reboot after I've done my updates. Okay, so now we're ready to install wazuh. So first we'll log in again. Okay, so now we need to install a few prerequisites if they're not already installed. Next, because this is a home lab, I'm going to disable the firewall. Best practices is obviously you would keep that enabled, but just for the ease of installation and getting this up and going, I'm going to make sure the firewall is disabled. I believe it's disabled by default. Okay, so now we will download the wazuh installer. Okay, so we've got the wasn't installer there. So now we can need to modify the installer to make sure it's got execution privileges. Now this might take a little while to install, so I'll let it go through the process and I'll fast forward it. Okay, now we need to make sure we record this password. And now we can move on to the configuration. So you can see the last line there says that the web interface can be accessed through HTTPS and the IP address. So we'll just get the IP address from here, and we can see that it is set to 10.0.3.28. So I will open up a browser and go to HTTPS 10.0.3.28 and proceed. I'll go over here and copy this password. It's still on the other window if we didn't type it out correctly. So we'll just confirm that it works. Username was admin and login. Okay, so you can see that it's already started working on itself. It's found these items based on its own server. So now what I want to do is to install the agent on a Windows machine. So if you go to deploy new agent, and then it will give you instructions on how to install it. So I've selected a Windows machine here. You need to put in the server IP address of the wazuh server. And you can tell it to remember that for future ones. You can leave everything else blank. And then you can see here it's created this command for doing the installation. So now what I'm going to do is switch over to my Windows machine in Proxmox, which is this one here, Windows 11. Now I previously copied and pasted the install command into Notepad here. So first thing I'll need to do is copy this command, open up PowerShell as administrator, paste that command in. So that will download the agent from the web and install it, and you can see here it's got this parameter at the end to tell it what the IP address is to point to. Then we need to tell it to start the service, and that started. So now if we switch back to our wazuh installation, go back to the overview and give it a moment. and you can see it's picked up that new machine. That's it there, demo win11-ws, its IP address, and it's currently gathering information on it. So once we go back to our overview, this count will start to go up as it detects things. So that's it for this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe, and hit the notifications bell if you want to see more videos just like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.